Over the recent year or two, if you're talking practical but fast performance electric vehicles, the Ioniq 5N has dominated. It does all the EV stuff well, it's quiet, it's refined, it's comfortable, it's cheap to run, but it can do this. It's crazy, it's got a mad character to it. But here is the very latest version of the Tesla Model Y performance. So let's take this for a drive and see how it compares. Okay, so let's talk about performance. Now, 460 horsepower in this, 0 to 60 just 3.3 seconds. And I haven't opened it up yet because I'm still in the traffic at the moment. It's a fast car. But is it quicker than the Ioniq 5N, which has very similar 0 to 60 figures? Well, I don't think so, and I'll explain why. Now, I'm not going to drag race this today. I don't have the means today to do that, but I have drag raced an Ioniq 5N with my Model 3 performance before, and that was in the Car Wow video with Matt Watson, and the Model 3 performance lost out. And by Tesla's own admission, that is a 0 to 60 is quicker than this, 2.9 seconds. This one, they quote 3.3. Same power, but obviously the Model 3 is a bit lighter than this. Now, the Ioniq 5N is heavier than this significantly, but it also packs 640 horsepower compared to the 460 horsepower of this one. So there's quite a difference in power there. So quicker than the Ioniq 5N? I doubt it. I don't think so. Quick enough for the road? Yes, absolutely. It doesn't need to be quicker than this for a family car. It'd be good to get one of these on track to also test its performance properly. Again, I'm a little bit skeptical. The Ioniq 5N is very track focused, lots of different setups, and people have run back-to-back laps on the Nürburgring, no battery overheat, no brake overheat, whereas track times I've done with Teslas before, they tend to struggle in their stock setup. You need to really get modified brakes, and the Model 3 Highland performance actually was worse than the previous Model 3 performance in terms of thermal management of the battery, although they then brought out a endurance mode that would have helped, but then it wouldn't have had that much power. So I don't think this is going to be quite as much of a track car as the Ioniq 5N. I think this is going to be your very, very fast, practical family car, but really mainly for road use. So how is it on the road? Well, that's what I'm really keen to find out here today. So I'm listening for kind of ride refinement, and I can compare it to other Teslas I've owned and driven as well. So immediately it does feel like the Model Y Juniper, whether it's a single motor or dual motor, a bit of extra refinement compared to earlier ones and a better ride comfort. This one's got adjustable dampers, so I'm going to change the modes on them in a moment. But just going down this bumpy road, coming northeast out of Winchester. It's absorbing the bumps pretty well. Of course, big wheels on this one, 21-inch alloys. It's pretty quiet, it's pretty comfortable. There's a little bit of body lean in its sort of comfort mode, but it's more comfortable than before. Absolutely it is. Okay, what I'm going to do now is switch it to insane acceleration mode. I'm going to put the ride and handling to sport, so that should stiffen up the adaptive dampers, which this does have, like the Ioniq 5M, but unlike any other Ys in the range. And the ride is still good, actually. I'm just wondering whether, yeah, I did change it, yeah. Still comfortable. I was expecting to go quite stiff, but it hasn't. Okay, let's jab the throttle. Oh, yeah, there's a bit more violence with that. It's quick. Of course. The steering in the Tesla just isn't... That doesn't feel as nice, though. I don't feel as connected to the road. I don't feel as if I can make it as precise. It's a very fast steering rack, so it changes direction like a fly, but I sort of don't have as much confidence in doing it. I'm not feeling what's happening to those front tyres anywhere near as much, I don't think. I mean, it's got fast cornering ability and lots of grip. So come out of the corner there. It's trying to grab a bit of traction control on me. It feels tall, but I don't have the quite as much sort of confidence in the steering as the Ioniq 5N. I think if I go back to its kind of standard suspension now, it's hard to immediately feel the difference even. It doesn't feel like it's changing its dampers that much. Again, I've just been driving it for 5 minutes here. I've not had this for 3 days or 2 weeks or anything like that. I've had the Ioniq 5N for a lot longer and driven many more miles than that. One thing I do notice, of course, with this new Juniper is the new seats. So we've got bigger bolsters here, and at last Tesla listened, we've got adjustable thigh support. I've been saying that for a while. The standard Model 3, Model Y seats for years have always just felt too short under here for me. But now we've got adjustable thigh support, at least in the performance models. The standard Ys don't have this. Not yet, maybe it'll carry through. But these bigger bolsters help immediately. That gives me more comfort. And the seat still feels comfortable. Compare that to the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which actually has manual seat adjustment and less seat adjustment. It's still comfortable, but it just doesn't have the same amount of seat adjustment in it. And I think if I was doing a long journey, I would prefer to be in these seats than the Ioniq 5N. Okay, so I've been driving around in this for a little while now, and a great car. Let me emphasize that. And anyone ordering one, I'm sure you can be very happy. But this is about a comparison to the Ioniq 5N. And to try and summarize that, I'm just going to say I think this is the kind of more refined choice. It's obviously a bit more subtle in its exterior looks. Those wheels look lovely, and it's got a few details, and the spoiler, and these seats are much better now. But it is all round a more kind of refined, comfortable, easy to live with daily. I mean, just daily features as well, like the software here is great to use. Things like the app is better. You've got dog mode, sentry mode, camping mode. And if there's going to be multiple drivers like we have at work, you know, Tesla is great because you just go up to the car with your phone, get in, and all the seats and steering wheel, everything changes to your position. And the Ioniq 5N doesn't have that. It has manual seat adjustment, and the seats aren't as comfortable. But then I wouldn't feel like I want to let anyone at work drive the Ioniq 5N as well, because that feels more savage. Rev limiter there. It feels like more of a beast. It feels like not everyone should drive that car, whereas this feels like really anyone could be a driving lesson car and you wouldn't know unless you prodded it with a stick. What I'd like to see a bit more of from the Model Y Performance is a bit more adjustment. So when I change it to its sport dampers, it really does firm up and go sporty. I'd like to see a bit more feel through the steering wheel. This fast steering rack that Tesla have on their cars makes it feel quite sporty in day-to-day drive, but for performance I want to feel like I can place it a bit more exactly on the road. I want to feel like a bit more feedback of what the front wheels are doing and how much grip they've got, and that's where the Ioniq 5N shines a bit more. There's more communication to the driver. It feels like a sort of more hardcore sporty car, and of course then you've got the toys you can play with, like the paddle shifts and the torque and the rev limiters and all that kind of stuff. So I thought they might be similar cars, but I think they're not. I would say this is the refined one, that one's a bit more of the hardcore driver and track car. Rev limiter there. I've just jumped back in the Ioniq 5N, and a couple of immediate reminders of some differences. Number one, the turning circle in the Ioniq 5N is very poor, so it often catches you out and you've got to do multiple sort of 3-point turns just to even, you know, turn the vehicle around or manoeuvre. Second, it's definitely noisier on the road. This isn't as quiet by the Tesla by a way. It's perfectly acceptable, you know, so it's quite good, but these big wide tyres, you do just hear it on coarse surfaces. The ride in its kind of comfort settings, I think is pretty similar really. It's softer damping, it's quite comfortable. You know you're going over bumps, but it doesn't kind of, you know, it doesn't waft around, but it's not jarring. It's good. The steering, even just driving normally, nice kind of weight. The steering wheel's a bit bigger in this car and it feels better for it. It doesn't feel as skittish and as kind of darty, but it's better controlled, it's more precise, it's more relaxing at higher speeds on the motorway, but also just the sheer feedback coming through. It actually has a bit of feedback, and I actually feel what the tyres are doing and where I'm getting a bit of grip and where I'm not getting grip. There's a load of space in the back, more space in the back of this than the Model Y for 3 adults. However, much as this is a nice quiet EV, what this does well is you can go from quiet EV into that mode, change your gear, change down a gear, change another gear, rev limiter, there, change up a gear, and it does this savage thing, and you've got to keep an eye on your speed. So I was going right up there, but it does this, which, what was that? Someone's just driving head on into... Now if this was a Tesla, I'd have had the dash cam footage of that. I don't know why someone just turned the wrong way from this post that says go left, and they just drove head on towards me. The brakes are very good on the Ioniq 5N. They have a nice bite. So there's obviously a lot of settings. I've done other videos, and anyone watching this will probably know what an Ioniq 5N is all about. And there's a lot of settings you can play with in here to not just set up your road or different driving style preferences and then when you're on track, but what this really does is change character. So this goes from being a pretty quiet, pretty comfortable, pretty refined and very practical family car to just being absolute savagery. The dampers properly firm up. It really feels like you can go on track with this. It's a proper animal, it's violent, and it just completely has the ability to change characters. And that's what was missing with the Tesla there. It was sport or not sport, a little bit sharper throttle, but it was just kind of always quiet, always refined, perfectly civilized, but didn't have that kind of violent edge. Now, if you're going to stretch your budget and spend the extra money for a performance car, and you're a petrol head because that's why you're doing it, I can't help but feel that for most driving enthusiasts, you're just going to prefer the Hyundai. It can do the commute, and then you can go do a track day. If I was doing a lot of mileage up and down the country every day, probably you're going to find the Tesla Model Y the easier car to live with, you know, just in terms of its charging network. And this can charge quick, I mean faster in fact, but the Model Y is going to be probably the easiest to live with for that. But for a car enthusiast who wants a performance car, the Ioniq 5 here, it's hard to beat with anything, combustion or not. The reality is I can just drive this nice and quietly after a stressful day at work. I can just drive home. I can charge at home, 10,000 miles worth of driving on my charging at home is only going to cost £200 or so. I mean, that's the advantage of EV over a fast petrol car. If this was a BMW M car, an Audi RS car, you dread the servicing costs, you dread the cost of a new set of brake pads and discs and stuff like that, which you're unlikely to need on one of these unless you do a lot of track days, because normally when you the brake pedal, it's actually just doing motor regen, it's not actually braking. It can do all the EV stuff very, very well, and yet it does the performance car also very, very well. And it's that ability to have two characters which I think is really important, and I think that's why if I was going to go to a performance car, spend that kind of money, for me personally, in my preferences, it would have to be the Ioniq 5N. This is a crazy car, I tell you. And you might not like the idea of what his noise is, but I mean, it does add a character to it. It is a fantastic car. Let's turn that off. There's the 30s limit. Back to 13, cruise quietly. So my final verdict, the Tesla Model Y Performance, a brilliant all-rounder, a bit more subtle than the Ioniq 5N, although obviously it comes in other colours, but the kind of gentleman's choice, a bit more refined, very easy to live with, all the kind of common Tesla traits of the great software, but now the modern Model Ys feel like really good quality, quite a premium product, very German feeling really in the cabin, so great cars. But this is about performance practical cars, and if we're going to go to that extra money and spend that kind of money for performance EV, then the Ioniq 5N, in my opinion, just does it better. It's a better Jekyll and Hyde. It still does the refined, quiet, silent EV thing really rather well, still practical, but then it goes to savagery. It's got different characters. It can go to a complete beast of a car, sometimes too much. I mean, you've got to watch your driving license when you're driving this one, because it's always kind of egging you on. But it has that savagery, it has a better steering feel, it has much more kind of blood running through its veins. You could go on a track with this and it just feels like it's got it. It could do it, no problem. It has done it, it does do it, no problem. So for a performance, practical, proper performance, I would go for the Ioniq 5N personally. However, the Tesla thing, I get it. Great supercharging network, practicality and all that kind of stuff with the Model Y is fantastic. Of course, software, the app and all that. So if you're tempted by the Model Y, I would just consider saving a few pounds and considering one like this. Now, this isn't the performance. Same colour, looks much the same. Okay, different bit down here and these wheels are different. This is just a long-range rear-wheel drive. So if you don't believe me, let me put my money where my mouth is, because I've just bought this car. It is a long-range rear-wheel drive. I don't think I need to spend an extra £14,000 to go to the performance. This is still 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds, but with rear-wheel drive, so it's got that kind of rear-wheel drive balance about it. And yet the efficiency and the sheer range I can use day in, day out. Just driving this down the motorway, sitting in a traffic jam, it feels exactly the same inside the cabin. So you can use that daily efficiency and rear-wheel range, whereas the penalty of that with the performance, I don't think is worth it. And if you're going to do proper track days, then get the Ioniq 5N. So a great car, the Model Y performance is. I just think it doesn't fit with my preferences. Maybe I'm being a bit Mr. Sensible as I get older now. You can blame me for that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Great car, but doesn't really fit into the right category. Either go sensible or go nuts. That's it from me. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one very soon. Take care. Drive safely.